Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is one of your first times joining me, welcome. I'm so glad that you have found me. Make sure that you do subscribe either to my Facebook page, my Facebook group, or my YouTube channel, and you'll get notified when I do my lives. So actually, this is pre-recorded. This is because I'm away for the month or next week when the Technique Tuesday class comes out. This is part of my How Did They Do That Technique Tuesday. And this happens to be episode number 14, I believe it is. And I love doing this. I love the fact that it was suggested to me to carry on for things that I used to do face to face. So I've started at the very beginning. These are an awful lot of techniques that I taught years and years and years ago. If you're a stamper that's been around for a while, you go, oh, I forgot all about that technique. And if you're a new stamper, then it's a new technique to you. So let me just go down to my desktop. We are going to be doing the masking tape, or actually, I guess it would be called the painter's tape technique. It's not the masking paper, it's masking tape. And you really want to make sure that you get the painter tape edition. And the reason being is because it comes off so easy. Now, what happens with this series is that I do a video with this. I show the different how to do the thing. What you want to do is you'll print this off. Now, this gets put on the Wednesday after I do the class. So I do this on a Tuesday. On Wednesday morning at 9:05 Pacific time, I do post this file in the Facebook group. Now, if you're interested in that, you'll have to check the links below. And basically, that's where there'll be a link to my Facebook group. Now, also, what I will also have on here is the video will be put here. Plus, also, I show you the card that I've actually made with it, or if I've done a couple of cards. And then I will give you the measurements for that particular card. Not that it's that hard to follow along, but I also give you the main supplies that I use with it, especially like the stamp set. And if there's certain dies that go along with it. So this masking tape technique, or like I say, painter's tape technique, is very easy. It's great to use with scenery stamps and focal stamps. Now, I'm going to show you later on at the end of this video, one that I did with a scenery that was done a little bit different than this particular one. And I will show you how I did that. Okay, so what you want to do is, what I did with this particular one was I went and I took a piece of basic white, and I used my rectangle frames, and I actually cut a frame out. And I think this is about the third or fourth one down. And then what I want is, this is the piece of basic white, and it's 3 3/4 by 5. And I did do it a tiny bit off centered, but I'm going to show you how I want to go ahead and do this. Now, because I may be getting a little messy, I'm coming in with just one of my, one of the things that I had for, this is where our designer series paper comes in. So I'm just going to actually mask this off. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this masking tape technique. I wanted to have a certain area that it was in because I wanted like a focal point with it. So let me just go, and I'm just going to tape this onto here. Now, this doesn't have to be done this way, but I tell you, it makes life a lot easier if you do it this way. And because I've got the masking tape, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You'll also want a garbage can fairly close too. So like I say, I only want my masking tape to be in this particular area. The one I'm going to show you at the end covers the whole cardstock, which it just depends on which ones you want. Now, this is quite a small area. Things that you could do for variation is you could do different sizes of masking tape, or you could make it bigger, is what you could do. Now, what you want to do is, you want to tear off a piece that's about like this. Now, I found the easiest way for me to do this is to actually leave it on there. So I'm going to use colors like Pool Party. I'm going to use Bermuda Bay. And I'm also going to use Crumb Cake. So I'm just going to go across here. And I am just going to, whoops, you can't see that. I'll bring this down. So I'm just going to take my masking tape and I'm just going to run it across there. Now it has ink on the back of it. And now I don't want that to be, I want it to be kind of off a little bit. So I'm just going to put this up here and then I'm just going to run that across there. And that's just going to give me a light one. You notice it doesn't go quite to the end. And then I can just tear that off and throw that in the garbage. Then I'm going to come in with my Bermuda Bay. Now I want the Bermuda Bay, I'll do the whole thing. And like I say, you can go over this if you don't like how uneven it is on the back. I'm okay with it being that way. I want a little bit more on this side there. I'm okay with it being that way, but that depends if you are. And then just run across there, and that just gives you, and I'll actually bring this up a little bit closer so that you can see it, where what it's done is it's just given you just a slight coloring. And all this is really just giving you a background, right? So I'm just going to go again like this. You could tear this off, like I say, ahead of time. I find this is the easiest way for me to do it. And then we're just going to put that right about there and tear that off. So that's given me the background. And now what you'll want to do, then you decide and do a focal point afterwards, or you could do whatever you want to do on there. All right, so I'm just moving that out of there. Now, what you want to do is then you want to have an image. Now, I've just got this like this. And I could actually go ahead and put another one down below there. But I decided that I wanted to bring back a stamp I haven't used in quite a while, and that's the Waves of Inspiration. I thought this pelican would look kind of cute off into the corner here. So I've got that already out, and I want this to be a good and black image. So I'm going to come in with my Stamparatus, and I'm just taking off the sentiment, and I'm going to decide, you know what, that isn't clean. So let me just go ahead and clean this. And I want this off to this side, right about there. But I want this to be black. So that's why I'm using my Stamparatus, so that I can go in, and you know what? I hope this doesn't, there we go. I want to put this right up here. And now I'm going to come in with my Tuxedo Memento Black, and we're going to stamp this pelican really good and dark. Just going to put it in there, and I'll come in with my Chucky. Now, if you're wondering about this Chucky, I do have a video on the Chucky. I think it's the Most Amazing Tool Chucky. Check it out. It's in my playlist. That's pretty dark, but I'm going to go again because I want it to be very, very black. And then what I can do is, oh, that's really dark. At this point now, I could go like this, and that could be on the front of my card. But of course, I want to do a sentiment. So I'm even thinking that I might even go in with the sentiment and do it as well with the Stamparatus. Just go clean that off. So I think I could go right about, oh my goodness, we want to put this back on there. Right about there. And we're just going to ink that up with the black as well. So like I say, this is just giving you kind of a background on there. And see, it's not quite dark enough. So I'm going to come in again and do that. And I'm glad that I did that with the stamp apparatus. I really like this expression. Your strength is an inspiration. And you know what? One more. There we go. All right. Oh, and then I also thought what might be really good is to maybe have some seagulls up here. Now, this particular stamp set has a lone seagull. So let's see how that's going to look. It's got quite a halo around here, so it really worries me when I stamp. Let me just see how this is going to look. If not, what I'm going to do is I'll bring in another stamp. There, that'll work. Just tap it lightly. There we go. And then we can finish off our card. Now, it's not going to be a super fancy card. It's basically just showing you the technique. But I thought what might be kind of cool is to put this linen thread on there. I find the linen thread, oh, there's not enough on that piece, just sort of ties in kind of the nautical sort of feel to it. So let's just wrap that around a couple of times. I'll just come in with my scissors and cut that. Let's see. Cover that up, that's for sure. All right. And then just tie this in a knot. Now this is pretty loose, so okay. I'm just going to tie this, and then I'll show you a simple trick to show you how to tighten this so that it stays tight on the front of the card. So that's going to be kind of like that. And you know what? I don't mind it being that loose on there. But what you can do is you can come back here with your double-sided tape or your tear and tape and just put it there and just put it here. And that's going to just keep it fairly tight for you. And then we can just trim this off. There we go. And then I thought this would look really good on Bermuda Bay. Just going to bring this down. So I'm just going to glue this on. And then I also thought what might be good is if it is on Crumb Cakes. So I have this, and I think this might be too big. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. That part looks like it's too big. This is 9 inches. So I'm going to just go and trim that to 8.5. Don't know how I got a piece of cardstock that was that size. Okay. There we go. And that we trimmed off the wrong side. Okay, so let me just fix that up. Grab another piece. There we go. Didn't double check that before I did it. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then all we're going to do is, I'm just going to fold that into the mountain and let's score that. Let's put that onto this card here. You know what? This is pretty loose. So let me just quickly take this off. Oh, I know it's not tied. That's why. Okay, so let's go ahead and tie this again. This is where you need 3 fingers. We could use a glue dot. I'm going to see if I can get this on here tight enough. Okay, so let's just pull that, tighten it, and then this is going to go on here. See that painted? It's so subtle that it just gives you a really neat sort of background on there. Now, we could go ahead and put some embellishments on there. So let's see what that would look like with embellishments. There's a few that you could use. You could go in. We could use, because these are kind of like a pool party, we could use these. I think they might be a little too shiny. I'm not sure. But I thought maybe these faux glass shaped things, because they've carried forward into the annual catalog. And let's just go ahead, and I'm just going to take some of these and I'm going to put a few of them down here. 5. I'm going to put 5 on here. Let's just do them like that. A little bit different. There we go. So there's our card. Pretty simple thing, and it gives you, like I say, the masking tape that goes on there. So let's bring that back in. Now, like I say, this is the one that I did a frame. Now, what you could do is you don't have to mask that area off. So I did that as a variation to there. These might have worked as well on there. But I'm going to show you this other card that I did. And this one's a little bit more vibrant, but here is one that uses the grassy grove. So you can see I had it kind of like, this one almost reminded me of a fiery type scene, forest scene sort of thing. But this is done with the masking tape. This has pool party. This is Calypso Coral. I think this, what color is that? Pale papaya, and then evening evergreen. So you can go from a very subtle look that kind of looks seashore-ish, is that even a word, to something that looks like that. So that gives you kind of a different sort of idea of what you can do with your masking tape or your painter's tape technique. So I hope that you'll do something like that. I hope that you'll sit there and put in a sample. This, like I say, will be going, will be on in my Facebook group as of it'll go in on Wednesday at 9:05 Pacific time. And like I say, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any ideas that you'd like to see with techniques, just pop me a line, just make a comment in the video. That would be great. I do have over 200 that I'm going to be doing. So I've got a lot of things in the works of doing it. I know people have asked me to do certain ones, but I've seen them out there on the internet quite like very short time ago. So I kind of want to keep things interesting with mine. So in any event, there you go. So masking tape technique. I hope you give it a try. Don't forget, if you do live in Canada, I would love to be your demonstrator. Make sure the biggest compliment that you can give me is give me the thumbs up, and you can share my video and my post. I really do appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye for now.